everybody. Welcome to the Purpose Summit. I'm Sue Erda. I'm your host for this event, and I am so grateful that you are here listening because what that means is that you are on your own journey of purpose. You are consciously aware of what's going on in your life. You want to make an impact. You want to set your intentions and see them manifest. And so I am so happy for you because you're in the right place. We have amazing interviews with 20 authors of our upcoming book, Women Living on Purpose, and you're going to love hearing from them. They share their stories, their practices, some guidance, some things that they've gone through for you so that you can have your own best purpose, live your best purpose in your own life. So I'm excited today to talk with Ashley. She's one of our authors in this book, and I'm going to read a brief introduction, and then we'll start talking with her. Ashley Gustafson is an author, inspirational speaker, interactive workshop presenter, fitness creator, and confidence coach. She is a woman who follows her heart and lives with passion, creating the life she has always envisioned while helping others to do the same. Ashley is the founder and CEO of Navigating Through Quicksand, LLC. I love that name, where she embraces challenges as opportunities to learn, grow, and succeed in all aspects of life. A former high school educator, Ashley holds a master's from Worcester State College and her plus 60 credits from Augustana University. Currently, she is creating summer fitness camps for high school athletes. And Ashley, I am so happy to talk with you today. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you, Sue?
I'm doing well, thanks. I'm excited to talk with you, and I'm excited to be here, as I said earlier. You know, I really do love this part. I love meeting you. Love getting to know you, and I really like now sharing you with our audience. So let's start. You know, I know that your business, I love your business name. We're going to talk about that, Navigating Through Quicksand. It's like, oh my gosh, how do I do that? But your title today, Make a Difference, being the rock that creates the positive ripple effect. So that's really cool. And I know you're going to talk about that. But first, can you tell us a little bit about your personal journey?
Well, just like everyone, we are brought into this world, and it's kind of like you think about it, and it's all about you. Like when you're born, everybody takes care of you. And so it's like, oh, it's all about me, you know? And then as we start growing up, we tend to face struggles and challenges. And it's so interesting because typically we face a challenge that really makes us realize our purpose and our path. And that challenge becomes the greatest opportunity of our entire lives. And that is when you realize it's all about me. That is when you realize it's all about the decisions I make. I'm going to be the one who has to embrace those consequences. Instead of being a victim, you become a survivor, because you start looking at things as, this is my life, and it really is all about me. And yes, other people are going to be a part of that. However, it's not about other people taking care of you anymore. It's about you taking care of you. And your decisions and choices are what's going to create the life you want or create the life that you're trying to stay away from. So your decisions and choices really, really impact, obviously, the life you lead. So therefore, that was a huge part of my journey, as I ran into struggles that actually turned into amazing opportunities to learn, grow, and help me realize that I am that rock that can create a positive or a negative ripple in the world. And I want it to be a positive ripple.
Yeah. You know, Ashley, I know that you shared your whole journey, or most of your journey in this. Well, you can't share all of it. It was one chapter. However, you shared a lot of it. So I know a lot about you. Can you just tell our audience just one of the struggles that you went through so they get an idea of what you're talking about, how that struggle can create something positive?
One of the struggles that I went through was when my parents got divorced. I was 14 years old, and because of the way the divorce went, I lived with my friends and their families. It was amazing because these people took me in like I was their own child. However, I was living on couches or spare rooms. So I didn't really feel like I had a home. However, I had a place to stay that was a roof over my head, food, and everything like that. However, as some people would say, wow, that's awesome, especially at 14. I mean, you can do whatever you want, you know. However, you have that sense of not really belonging. And what I did is I chose to avoid instead of embrace. And when I avoided, I chose to partake in drugs and really alcohol to try to cope with what was going on, with avoiding everything that was going on. And instead of growing, I was more or less destroying myself because I didn't want to deal with the situation or things that were going on. So that's really one of the struggles was that's a couple, my parents divorced and trying to deal with it and trying to realize what was going on. Because even back then, there was only like 4 other people in my friend group that I knew of whose parents had been divorced. So I couldn't really relate to anybody.
Yeah.
And it was kind of neat because not really neat at the time. However, looking back, just realizing that all of that happened for a reason. And now I became a better educator when I taught high school students because of the way that people helped me when I was really struggling.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so amazing that you started so young, like, yes, maybe at the time you didn't recognize it as a teenager, but looking back, that's the beauty of looking back, that 2020 hindsight, right? It's like, okay, now I see why. And we can always do that. And everybody, I'm sure that's listening knows they've had struggles, and looking back, they can see the blessings or the graces or the beauty that came with that. So I love that you shared that. Now, you named your business aptly, I think, Navigating Through Quicksand. What does that mean to you? And why do you think that's important, that you named it that? And also, what do we do with that?
So navigating through quicksand is just that. In life, things will be going just great. It's like you're on a beach pretty much and things are nice. And then all of a sudden, we might become overwhelmed. Things start happening, a situation or a challenge comes right in front of us. And then all of a sudden, you have challenge. And then all of a sudden, you notice another challenge and another challenge. And you feel like you're just like sinking in this quicksand and you can't get out. And it's almost like you're like trying so hard. And just like with actual quicksand, the more you try really hard like this and you're like trying to claw your way out and you're thinking about all these things that can go wrong and that you're sinking, it becomes worse and you get deeper and deeper and deeper. So solving whatever issues or challenges are going on becomes this massive struggle instead of looking at it as a massive strength. So I named it Navigating Through Quicksand because you can help not just yourself, but others navigate through the quicksands of life. And again, just like with quicksand, if you feel overwhelmed, you can relax, step back, relax, breathe, center yourself. And you will notice that you're not going to be sinking anymore. You're going to feel more in control. And when you look up, you're going to realize that other people are there with their hands to help pull you out of it. And it's really important to become resourceful in life and realize that a lot of times when we think we're alone, it's actually our decision to allow other people in our lives to connect so that we can build these bonds that not only make us stronger to help us get out of the quicksands we started sinking in, but also once we're out, we can then help so many more people through their quicksands of life.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that how you explain that too, because it's so true. It is easy to get into overwhelm, especially like through the past year we've lived through. It's been kind of interesting to watch people and what they do and how they show up and how they respond. And I know that you have been on a journey of personal growth for many, many years. Tell me why you are so passionate about this.
Helping others is huge to me. Like I said before, with my entire journey, I realized that it's up to me if I want to impact myself and others in a positive or negative way. And I can do that either way. And I want to be that rock that makes that positive difference, that positive ripple. And I don't want to just like, boom, make one ripple. I want to influence others so they influence others. I would like to be a leader that creates other leaders and helps other leaders help other leaders and just create that amazing ripple in the world. Because a lot of times we forget the difference we make in not only our own lives, but the lives of others. So I think it's really important to look at the fact that like my decisions they impact me, but it's also super important to help other people the way that I was helped. Because if I didn't have those people in my life when I really needed them, my life, I probably honestly wouldn't be here if those people didn't step up and help me. So I want to be that person to help other people. Sorry, I'm just getting a little emotional. However, that's why I became a high school educator, was so that I could help others, especially in the age bracket that I needed help. And one of the most amazing things as a teacher was not just teaching the subjects, like I taught nutrition, health, and phys ed, is it was so important for me to make sure that it wasn't just about the content, it's about the student. And I wanted to make sure that I knew that they were good and that they knew that they had someone that they could rely on and count on, and that they could come to if they ever need anything, because people were that for me in my life when I needed them.
Yeah, I love that. And we're all connected. Absolutely. And we all make an impact. Our energy, our vibration, our actions go out there, and it affects everybody, not just us. And I think people do forget that. It's like, okay, what I do is going to be either positive or negative, and or neutral maybe, but it is affecting everybody. So that's so important to even bring that to us. And I know that everybody goes through challenges. People listening today, they have challenges. Everybody's got challenges, big, small. They happen throughout our whole lives. And I know that you talk about resolving challenges with your heart. So what does that mean? How do we do that?
I have always been a massive overthinker. So if something happens, I make it way worse than it actually is. And something that I have worked on for a long time is connecting with my heart and leading from my heart. And I honestly thought it would be really easy to do. However, you have to be vulnerable and courageous to do that. And I have had it's been a consistent struggle for me. However, I notice the more I lead from my heart and I don't get in my head, Tony Robbins, that's one of his famous quotes, is if you get in your head, you're dead. If you lead from your heart, you will find that you will go all in and you will actually bring a better you to every situation in all aspects of life, because you're coming from a place of love. You're coming from a place of gratitude. You're coming from a place of appreciation. You're not coming from just logic. And you're leading with feeling. And I mean, think about that. Even in any type of relationship or friendship, if you only led with logic and not a feeling and empathy and compassion, your friendships and your business is going to run different. Your friendship's going to run different. Your relationship, especially intimate relationships, are going to look totally different than someone who's consistently coming from a place of love and kindness and being grateful for the situations, being grateful for the struggles, being grateful for the challenges, and looking at things in a more positive and heartfelt, like instead of, well, that doesn't make sense. Let me make sense of it in my mind. And then I'll tend to react. Yet when you come from your heart, you take action. So
Yeah. I love that. And it works not only in our personal lives, it works in business too. Absolutely. People think, nope, I've got to be in my head. This is business. And they separate business and their heart. And that's just never works. I know that's a whole conversation we could have, but I want to talk to you about some other things for people on the call right now. We talked about overwhelm. We mentioned overwhelm. And I know that we all get that way. Sometimes we feel it. How can we keep life simple and avoid overwhelm?
Step back. Whenever you are put in a situation, whenever something happens to you, remember that you're only in control of yourself. And how you do that is you have to step back. You have to reconnect with you. Take a breath. Remember that you didn't create the situation. Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you failed. Maybe you tried something that didn't work, again, like failing. And yet you need to simplify and just look at it like, okay, I found a way that doesn't work. instead of dwelling on it. And so I can't believe I did that. I can't believe this happened to me. Again, it's that survivor mentality over the victim mentality. Instead of the why me, it's why not me. And those are the real huge ways of just keep it simple. Look at the situation for what it actually is, instead of creating all of these massive things in our minds that didn't really actually happen, or didn't really actually happen the way that we are looking at them like they did, if that makes sense. And I think one of the things is that the more simple you make your life, the quote unquote easier decisions are going to be for you, because you're not going to sit there and overwhelm, dwell, and create all these things that never happen in reality in your mind. If you're always focusing on the good, if you're always focusing on the simplicity of things, then you're going to end up executing things and making things happen instead of just thinking about them. So when you simplify, you actually take more action and you put more of your heart into it, because you keep it simple instead of making it massively complex where nothing ever gets done or executed.
That's simplicity allows us to focus, is you know, it really focuses on the good. So I love that too. You know, I know that I mentioned this earlier. You talked a little bit about some things that you've gone through, some challenges as a teenager. What are some other roadblocks you've overcome?
Starting my business. I had to step away from teaching to actually like fully involve myself. And that thing called a paycheck stops coming in. And I was used to, like, I worked so hard and I wanted to be at the top of my pay scale. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, when you start a business, it doesn't just take off. The late nights, all the no's that you just cry and you're like, why? How come everybody's saying that they're going to book me and then they don't? And then a pandemic happens. And, and I think one of the struggles that has actually become one of the most amazing opportunities of my life was really reconnecting with myself and saying, you know, like, yeah, obviously financial security is very important, but you got to stay true to you. You got to reconnect with yourself and remember that money is money. Like the wealth that you have and the wealth that you hold, like real wealth is feeling fulfilled. Whether you have money or not, you got to choose happy no matter what. And when you start choosing happy, again, as I was saying, keeping things simple, choosing happy, you're going to be that rock that creates that ripple. But the first ripple is actually within yourself. And that's going to be that energy that you give to others. But that was one of the roadblocks that I, you know, really ran into. Is I was at the top of my game financially. I had everything was all set. And then I said, no, and I went with here. My head was like, you know, everything's structured. Everything's good. You're in this great place. And then I'm like, no, but my heart, like there's more. There's more out there. There's more people I can help in a different way. And so I like kind of got out of that cage and explored, and it's scary. However, it's amazing at the same time because it's empowering to feel the fear and do it anyway. And I know that's a famous quote, but it's so true. Like you just feel that fear and you got to let it drive you instead of the deer in the headlights. You got to make it drive you instead of stopping and standing there. Got to move.
Yep, got to move. Absolutely. And, you know, I like to reframe fear and say, okay, it's adrenaline. This is what's the motor, like this is going to get me through. So I like that whenever I'm feeling nervous or scared or any of that. You know, we touched on this earlier too about connection. We're all connected. We're all affecting each other no matter what. Tell me about human connection. Why do you feel that matters so much and why it's so important?
Connecting with others. Especially in this day and age with social media the way it is, so many people appear a specific way. That doesn't mean that their life is that way. And a lot of times, and I saw it especially with teaching, is knowing your students, knowing other people. It doesn't mean they have to tell you everything about them or everything they're going through at the time. But when you actually listen to what someone is saying to you, even if the words don't match the mannerisms and their other body language, like you got to really listen to what they're saying. When a student walks in or a person walks in, a colleague or a client, and they're like, no, everything's great. You should know when things aren't great and they say that. Because when you connect with someone, you'll sense that, you'll feel it. And that's why it's so huge to come from your heart, because you're going to feel, you're going to stay deeper, connected deeper with others than if you're thinking with your head all the time or living from your head and your mind. But that personal connection is so huge. Like actually sitting there and listening to other people and what they're really saying to you is so important. And you start to become more resourceful. And the more you learn about other people, you are actually learning a lot about yourself too. And you realize that you're not alone. And even when you are, that other people understand you. And you don't feel as, I guess I could say, misunderstood. Or I just feel like the more connected you are with yourself and understanding of yourself, the more you're less likely to be judging others as well. Because again, you're coming from a place of your heart. And when you're not judging others, that means you're not judging yourself either. And you understand they're their way they are because they're the way they are. They've gone through things just like you have.
Yep.
And even though everything might seem like they have it all together or that they're struggling tremendously, the biggest thing is just connecting with other people and building strength. And that's how you become that rock that creates that ripple, because then they'll do it for someone else. Because people never forget how you make them feel. And if you make them feel amazing, typically they're going to start making other people feel amazing when other people are struggling, because they remember how you made them feel.
Absolutely. It's a total ripple effect, just like your hands are doing. It's the ripple, it goes out. So I so appreciate that. And, I can tell, Ashley, you are a woman living on purpose. You're starting your business, doing this, getting out there, even when right before the pandemic and doing it, it's a lot, and it is scary, and you're doing it. And I so admire that and appreciate that. Now, I know that there are people that are listening that will want to connect with you. So how can they do that? You give us your contact information, your social media, whatever that is.
I have, my website is navigatingthroughquicksand.com. You can also email me at ashley@navigatingthroughquicksand.com. And I also have a 1-800 number that you can call anytime. It's 1-800-447-0312. And I love Facebook. So I always post on there. And that again is at Navigating Through Quicksand. Instagram, same thing, at Navigating Through Quicksand. And then Twitter is at Ashley, capital G, capital NTQ. And I post more so on Facebook and Twitter, Facebook and Instagram right now. So I'll be putting everything on Twitter shortly as well.
Awesome. I love it. So you even kept your contact information simple. Keeping it simple is so good. Awesome. Ashley, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being a part of this whole project. I know that your energy is so important for all of this, because like you said, it's the ripple that's going out there. So we appreciate you being a part of this. Your story in the book is really amazing. It's, you've been through a lot, and the way that you express yourself, the way that you're now living your life is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So thanks so much for being a part of all of it.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And listeners, thank you, because I know that you are here, as I said in the beginning, because you're on a journey of purpose, and we have more tools for you. So for instance, on June 29th, we are launching this book, Women Living on Purpose. And with this book, if you buy this book from Amazon on launch day, you will be able to come back to our website and receive more than 35 gifts from our authors and partners. And these are awesome gifts. Everything is free, of course. It's all for you. It's to help you on your journey of purpose, and really just for more ease, simplicity, and grace in your life. Whatever that means for you, you will find it there. So what you want to do is on June 29th, come to our website, womenonpurposebook.com, womenonpurposebook.com. We'll guide you to Amazon, so you'll have that direct link. Whether you buy the paperback book or the 99-cent Kindle, which is one day only, 99-cent Kindle, bring your receipt number back and you'll have access to those gifts. So thank you so much for listening to this. Continue to listen to the summit. There are so many women here with so much heart for you, and you will love it. So thanks for everything you're doing. I wish you all a beautiful, happy day. Bye for now.